See if I can get the audio working. All right, I think audio is working. Hello there, everyone. Figured we'd try a new game instead of Railroads Online. All right, audio's working. I'm doing well, Chessie. How are you doing? And yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see how this game goes. Last time I played the DLC for this on Train Sim World, it was a bit catastrophic and really buggy. So hopefully this won't be so buggy this time. Oh, you saw the big boy locomotive. That's sweet. Let's do the introduction. Hey, there's Birdie. Oh, thank you, Lord Vader. I turn my light off so I can see better.
Hello there, and welcome to Farquhar Station.
Sir Topham Hatt is terrifying.
Adventures on the island of Sodor.
He is still terrifying.
You will need to learn how to drive one of my engines, and I could think of none better than Thomas. In this short introduction, you will be taken through every step needed to make sure that Thomas is a really useful engine. And I'm sure
that's a pretty good whistle that locomotive has on it. You definitely need hearing protection if you're near the engine, though, because I saw the big boy locomotive blew through a station somewhere and set off a bunch of car alarms when it went by.
Press the no button to begin exploring Sodor. You can play this introduction again at any time by choosing the introduction
that Sir Topham Hatt model is really cursed. Let's do the tutorial.
Hello, driver. Climb on board, and we can get started.
All right, let's see how this goes.
Follow the markers in front of you, as they will guide you to Thomas's cab steps.
Okay, here we go.
Before you
the models for these games look really nice. I like how they put the hand railings and riveting on them.
Open, you can use the steps to climb up into the cab. This is Thomas's cab. Here you will learn the controls needed to drive Thomas. Let's get started by first moving over to the driving position.
Oh yeah, it's the opposite way. No, I thought the engineers in the UK were on the left side. It was the opposite of the US, and the firemen were on the right side in the UK. Oh well.
If you want a better view of your train or the line ahead, you can change between inside and outside camera views at any time while driving. For now, use the controls shown on screen to change to the outside camera.
Here we go.
You can change between this view and the inside cab view at any time by pressing either of the controls shown here. There are many locations on the railways of Sodor where lines separate or join together.
Top 10 most terrifying video game characters.
The train will be traveling. On the main line, most of these
I wish I had plugged my ears when the Durango and Silverton 482 went by me, because I was standing right by a grade crossing, and that K36 locomotive's whistle, it had Heiss's whistle on it, blew my eardrums out when it went by. It was so loud. I can't even imagine how loud the Big Boys is, because that was just a little K36 engine.
So that it's set to the correct track. You can set the points by climbing.
That's cool. You at least got a video of the engine running.
Walking over and interacting with it.
All right. What am I doing? Am I driving up there? No, I'm getting out of the... I have to get out of the cab. Yeah, those steam whistles are really loud. I can't even imagine how loud the big boy locomotives was. Okay.
You can also change the points on the map, which can be accessed by pressing the key shown now.
What are you talking about? Oh. Okay, now I gotta get back on Thomas the Tank Engine. Run the big boy on Strasbourg. I wonder how far the engine would go. I don't think Strasbourg is a very long line. Is Strasbourg still connected to any main line, or is it like cut off and just its own line now?
Excellent work so far. The junction is now
Yeah, that whistle that Heist had on that locomotive when I was in Durango was super loud.
Annie and Clarabelle.
But it is a really nice sounding whistle. It's better than the usual one they have on 482.
Now on the screen to increase the throttle.
Okay. So what am I doing? Am I forward? All right. Oh, you have to hold the button down to use the throttle. That's kind of stupid.
Well done. You're doing a good job so far.
Why does he have such a smug look?
Down, press and hold the button shown to begin applying the brakes.
Oh no, he's smiling. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that they were still connected to a main line. It's pretty cool that they are. I wonder if I could ride Amtrak in from Chicago right up to Strasbourg then. That's Amtrak still connected to it. Wait, where am I supposed to go? Do I stop here? I'm gonna assume we stop here.
As you can see, the throttle has returned to zero.
Okay.
This means that Thomas is now ready to travel in either forward or reverse. To make Thomas reverse, tap the control shown on screen until the direction arrow on the hood points down.
Yeah, I'm sure Thomas the Tank Engine is terrified. You know, with my track record of driving on railroads and line and train sim world, Thomas has every right to be terrified of me driving him. What am I doing? Reversing? Okay.
Remember to slow down when approaching Annie and Clarabelle.
Oh, we're picking up Annie and Clarabelle.
No more than 5 miles per hour when attempting to couple to coaching stock and troublesome trucks.
Where are they? I can't see them because of these UI things are all in the way. I can hardly see them. Where are they? Oh, I'm about to ram into them. Stop! Stop, 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 stop. Sir Topham Hatt is watching.
Hello, Annie. Hello, Clarabelle. Hello, Thomas. To allow passengers to climb aboard, you will first need to open the passenger doors using the controls shown on the screen.
What? They don't tell you what controls you're supposed to use. Did I miss something? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I've opened both sides. We don't need both sides. Oh my god, there's Sir Topham Hatt.
There are other cameras available to use during your adventures on Sodor. Let's look at another one now. Using the button shown on screen, change to the free camera.
Press and hold R3. Okay, there we go. What's this? Is this free cam? Oh, this is free cam. Okay, got the point, game.
You are now using the free camera. With this camera, you can freely fly around to wherever you'd like. You are still able to fully control your train whilst using this camera, and it's very useful for getting a good look at your surroundings.
Chessie, I don't remember how much this game was. I bought it a while ago, and I'm only just now getting around to playing it because my controller was broken.
So it is looking at Thomas.
Until I bought a new one recently. I think I spent it was like $10 for the DLC to get James, and then I think it was like $50 for the base game, $40, $50, somewhere around there. What am I doing? Look at Thomas. I'm looking at him, dummy. This game doesn't work.
Now move the camera so that it is looking at me. Set Topham Hatt.
Yeah, they made a main character a DLC. It's really stupid. I really don't like that. It's really weird. It's like one of the main 3 characters, and it's locked behind a paywall of $10. Oh. God. That is a really not good-looking model of Sir Topham Hatt.
Shown here. Remember, you can drive Thomas from both the inside cab view and the outside camera you were shown.
He looks
earlier.
like someone. I don't know who Sir Topham Hatt looks like, but he looks like someone. It might be John Goodman. I'm not sure. Change back inside cab view.
Good job. It looks like everyone has boarded now. You can go ahead and close the passenger doors using the controls shown here.
Might as well have been made by EA, because I think the Dovetail, they release a brand new train sim world every year now, or every other year. It's getting kind of nuts now, so they might as well be made by EA. Part of our engineer test is instructor will put open water bottle on controls stand. If at any point you spill it, you fail. Yeah, I could see why you wouldn't want to have an open water bottle like that. A fat controller. Alright, let's see. Did I close the doors right?
You've got a green signal, so you're ready to continue to the next station. Increase the throttle once again to move Thomas forward.
I was just playing Battlefront 2 earlier. I don't play the multiplayer to Battlefront 2 anymore. I do play instant action and co-op. They really did drop the ball with Battlefront 2. I really, really was wishing we got the DLC. They were talking about adding Ahsoka Tano and Asajj Ventress to that game. And I think Mustafar and a bunch of other maps to that game. And I will never forgive EA for abandoning Battlefront 2 like that. And we still have no new Star Wars Battlefront game, which is really concerning now, so. What am I doing? Increase the throttle forward? Alright, goodbye, Sir Topham Hatt. Kinda wish... Oh, here we go. Kinda wish George Carlin was still around so he could narrate this, because I always loved the George Carlin ones. George Carlin was my favorite Mr. Conductor. Yeah, if they added that map, that would have been amazing. They were supposed to add more reinforcements for the Rebels and Empire too, but we ended up with the ISB agent in that game isn't so bad, but the Ewok was kind of weird. Especially when you see the Ewok on maps like Hoth and Scarab, and it's kind of cursed. I would have preferred like a Bothan spy or a rebel pilot or something. Yeah, I always liked the George Carlin ones best. I always personally thought he was the best narrator, but Ringo Starr was pretty good too. Alec Baldwin was pretty funny as well. Oh, I can go way faster than this. How do I go faster? Oh, hey there, Red Oak. Blue dumpster out. Oh, we have the whistle. I really don't like the control setup for this. I'm going to have to see in the settings if you can have like regular Train Sim World settings, because I don't like how you have to keep constantly hitting this button to put the throttle back open again. It just automatically closes when you let go of it and loses speed. It's a very odd choice on their end.
Remember to slow down as you approach a station you want to stop at, so that you come to a safe stop.
I've seen those George Carlin dubs over the show. They are hilarious. With his comedy routines dubbed over it. Alright. Creeping into the station.
Good work. Now open the passenger doors to allow the passengers to start boarding.
Alright. Yeah, the George Carlin dubs are always my favorite.
Splendid job. It
Hydrostatic.
like Thomas make a great
dumps
team.
the air.
And I'm certain you will be
Hello
an
there,
excellent
Kevin.
driver in
This game is so far not as
driver.
buggy.
I can't wait to start our adventures.
I'm not going to hold my breath, though. Oh, we got a trophy. We have another scenario. Thomas and Gordon. Let's play that one, I guess. See how that goes. Hopefully it's not too buggy, because the other one was horrific. I remember I tried, I think I played 3 missions on the DLC for Train Sim World, and every mission was bugging out on me. So hopefully that won't happen again.
Thomas is a tank engine who lives at the big station on the island of Sodor. He has 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy
Lord Vader.
boiler, and a short stumpy
This
dome.
is the first episode, isn't it? Oh, this is the first episode.
A little engine too. Always pulling coaches about, getting them ready for the big engines to take on long journeys. And when trains arrive at the station, he pulls the empty coaches away so that the big engines can go.
Thomas could speak 7 languages, but was still hated by all those
Thomas
countries.
Thinks no engine works as hard as he does. He loves playing tricks on them, especially Gordon.
Oh, riding inside a sentient coach for 6 hours. That's terrifying.
Thomas likes whistling cheekily.
The entire idea of this show kind of gets really creepy when you really think about it. Like, how would they clean out the smoke box? Like, the face would have to open up on the smoke box to clean it out properly. And, like, would they feel pain when they're being, like, taken apart for maintenance? That's just really creepy when you start thinking about it. And then, like, riding in the coaches. Would the coaches feel you riding in them?
One morning, Thomas found
Wouldn't that be painful, having, like, multiple people sit on you?
And there wasn't enough steam. It was nearly time for the express, but the coaches weren't ready. At last, Thomas started.
I remember watching Shed 17 a long time ago when I was actually still in school, and I had nightmares
He
after that.
fussed into the
After
station
that,
where Gordon was waiting.
that kind of ruined it for me.
"Hurry up, you," said Gordon, "and bring me my coaches."
I still have that horrifying image
"Hurry
of
yourself,"
Mavis
replied
bursting into
Thomas.
flames from that video, Shed
"Yes,"
17, and
said
Gordon
Gordon.
exploding. I don't care
"I'll
remember
do."
those scenes. What am I doing? I'm going to the yard entry. Oh, that's cool. The other engines whistle when you whistle near them. Yeah. Yeah, that video was terrifying. And the implications of how, like, the engines worked on, like, a biological level is just something I really didn't care to ever hear about or see. Where's the entry point? Right here? Is the point already switched for me? This game doesn't really tell you if it... Where am I going? I'm going on this siding. I'm assuming the points are switched already. Am I speeding? Oh no, I'm under this. No, I'm over the speed limit now. Oops. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Yeah, the Big Boy tour looks really cool. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to see it, but it's cool that they're doing it, though. That East Coast tour. Like I've said before, I'm pretty sure this is the first time, as far as I'm aware, it's even been on the East Coast side of the States. Does anybody know if any of the Challengers are running anymore? Or 844? Is 844 in running condition right now either? Because I haven't seen much on 844 in a while. What am I doing? Oh, I don't have to turn around. I have to go forward. I keep breaking the speed limit. Oh, okay, I'm picking up Gordon's coaches. Come on, pick up the train. Alright, now I push it forwards. Yeah, yeah, they could have done a bit better with the world building of Thomas the Tank Engine. Like I said, the implications of the biological part of these locomotives is kind of terrifying once you really think about it. I don't really know why they even have engineers and firemen, since it doesn't even seem like the drivers really do anything besides, like, keeping fuel up in the locomotive. Because it seems like the train just kind of do whatever they want more often than not. I've only ever seen the first Cars. I've never really seen any of the other ones. I've seen one of the Planes movies. I saw the one that had the that steam engine in it. I think it was like based on the Virginia and Truckee Tahoe. They did a good job with the sound design for this game. I really wish this game had Edward included in it. That was always my favorite character, was Edward. It's kind of disappointing that he's not in this game. Which Cars had the, I remember seeing bits and pieces of one, and they're like in Milan or something. I don't really remember exactly what they were doing. I don't know if they're going around the world or something, but I could have sworn I remember seeing bits and pieces of one a long time ago, and they're like in Milan or France or something like that, and out in Europe. Wait, do I stop it right here? Is this a good enough spot? Okay. Oh, that's Cars 2. So what do? Do I back up now? Do I go on to another siding? Assuming I back up now? Okay, I back up now. Yeah, that's what I thought. 'Cause I remember seeing bits and pieces of that one, but I never actually sat down and watched it all the way through like the first one. So this is a really weird thing, but I don't know why, but whenever people mention Cars, I always think of two things. The first one is a meme talking about like where all the humans are in the Cars universe. And then the second one is, this one's really stupid, but a really long time ago, I remember seeing somebody online posted like a picture of their Cars 2 or Cars 1 DVD case, whatever it was, and they filled it with beans. That's like really all I remember. I remember those two memes more than the actual movies themselves. Oh yeah, and I guess I do remember what's his name was Doc Hudson. Paul Newman was in it. I remember that about the movie, the first one too. But other than that, I really don't remember much about those movies. I remember more about the memes and the movies themselves. Oh wait, is 844 going? Is 844 undergoing an overhaul right now or something? Yeah, I remember it was like during that time period where it was like a bunch of like just stupid memes with the beans. People like putting beans where they shouldn't be. It was like 2016, 2017. Around there. Just there's so many stupid memes out there back then. Oh, they sure do have us going pretty far. I can't even see anything. Okay, there we go. Isn't there some sort of light in here or something? Oh, there's a light right there. Can I stop it? Oh, I overshot this thing. Somebody did a Reese's peanut butter cups full of... Bleh, that's so gross. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, I'm coupling up to Gordon, I think. That's so gross. Oh my god. Has anybody here ever watched James May's Bug Out Bunker where he does like cooking? There is one where they did like a bunch of viewer requests and the viewers just submitted so many diabolical and disgusting food combinations that James May had to try for that episode. I felt so bad for him for that one. Yeah, there's no Edward as far as I'm aware in this game. I think it's just Thomas, Gordon, Percy, James, and Emily? Oh, and Diesel. Those are the only ones I'm aware of. Alright, couple up. Come on, come on.
Gordon hadn't forgiven Thomas for waking him up from this nap. As soon as the last passenger had climbed on board, he started up so quickly that there was no time to uncouple Thomas.
Oh, I think we're driving Gordon now. Yep, we are. What is Gordon? Isn't he in like a A3 Pacific? Isn't he like some... Like, he's like a variant of the A3 Pacific, I think. Or the A4. Yeah, they made James a DLC. It's pretty disappointing.
Stop! Stop! Come on, keep up, called Gordon.
Oh, is it an A1? Can I pick up speed now, or are we stuck doing 25? Oh, okay, it looks like we can highball. Alright, we can highball now. Well, let's see if Thomas is having fun back there. Oh, Thomas looks like he's having real fun. He looks absolutely mortified. Hello there, Tommy. What was beyond the sky? I heard Pixar were actually considered pitching a Trains version of the Cars universe. That would have been interesting. Probably would have been too much like Thomas the Tank Engine, you know. I really don't like how they force your camera view into the engine's cab every time you hit a tunnel. It's kind of annoying. It's something they should definitely change when they update this game. Let's see if Thomas still looks terrified back there.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Oh, laughed Gordon. Poor Thomas was going faster than he had ever gone before. He was out of breath and his wheels hurt him. But he had to go on.
Oh, okay, that makes sense that it was part of the Planes franchise. A Bumpy Ride looks like a really good game. It looks really fun. Unfortunately, I don't think that's available on PlayStation, so I can't play it. But if it was, I'd probably pick it up. Gordon has a smug face. They did a better job with the facial animations for this one too, because their faces were just static in that DLC for Train Sim World. Now they're actually animated.
Express coming through. Stop, please.
Yeah, I saw something about Metro, them planning a movie like that. Sure, it would have been 10 times better than that horrifying Underground Ernie or whatever that I had extreme displeasure of discovering existed because of a Sam's Trains video. Somehow it's even more cursed than, oh, what am I thinking of? There's something else that's... Oh, the Lionel video, the Lionel movie. It's even more cursed. Actually, no, I think they're actually on the same level of being super cursed. Underground Ernie with the Lionelville thing. Yeah, and the lighting is pretty weird in the game. Where's the sun at? Right there. Yeah, it is pretty bright on Gordon. Well, we gotta stop in a mile. Oh, I should probably start slowing down now. What is his wheels doing? Look at them. They're like notching forward. It doesn't even... Okay, there we go. They're spinning again. That'd be pretty interesting. I'd watch that if they made a movie like that. I think they had like a little thing sort of like that called, it was like a little, it was on YouTube. It was called like Train Yard Blues or something. And it was like some stop motion train that was like left on a siding, gets scrapped or something. Oh, I thought I overshot the signal. Yeah, it's sad. Disney likely probably won't make that. And also, could you try and keep the chat, try to keep clean language in the chat if you can as well, please.
At last, they stopped at a
Yeah, that would have been an interesting locomotive, or,
Well, little Thomas,
idea.
chuckled Gordon. Now you
My
know
brain just
what
broke in the middle
hard
of
work
that. That would be a good
means,
idea to use that locomotive and railroad from planes. Because, like I said, and like you just mentioned, it looked like it was,
silly and exhausted.
it looked like that Virginian truckee mogul, whatever it was called.
Slowly away to rest, and had a long,
That's gonna bug me now
drink.
because I just remembered that engine's name.
After
Or
that,
I just had the engine's name in my head, and I can't remember what they called that little 260 now. Tahoe. I think it was called Tahoe. I think that's what it was named. I'm not sure though. But anyways, though, I know the engine you're talking about though. Okay. We'll do one more story, then I want to do free roam after this. I want to play other engines. I want to try and play James.
Thomas goes fishing. When Thomas puffed along his
so you
branch
can't
line,
really control what the
always
whistles
look
do in this
forward
game
to
for some
something
reason. You
special.
hit the button to do a whistle,
The sight of the river.
and it just like gives you pre-recorded 1 blast, 2 blasts, or
As he
3
rumbled over
blasts.
the
It's
bridge,
kind of
he
disappointing.
would see
So you can't
people
really do a
fishing.
proper grade crossing
Thomas often wanted to stay and
signal
watch.
with the whistles in this game.
One day, Thomas stopped as usual to take on water at the station by the river. Out of order? Bother!
Tahoe. I thought it was Tahoe, and I
thirsty.
forgot they had one named Empire too. Roundhouse
Never
made a
mind,
really
Thomas,
nice looking
said his driver.
representation of the
We'll get
Empire.
some water from the river.
I think it was like right before
They found a
Athearn
bucket
took over
and some
Roundhouse,
water.
and they used the
Went
tooling
to
with
the
the
bridge.
smaller 260 drivers for it. I've seen it on eBay before. I kind of wish that Athearn would bring back the smaller 260 drive wheel version of the Mogul, because I honestly prefer the smaller driver version of that 260 than the giant, tall drive wheels they have on the current ones that they offer. Are we stopping at the bridge? I have no idea what's going on. I wasn't paying attention to the story at all, but he does not look very good right now. That looks like me when I wake up first thing in the morning. They randomize the whistle blast, so I can't really control what whistle the forward or reverse or stop whistles. Very weird choice on Dovetail's end. What am I doing? I'm getting this bucket. We're getting water from the river. I'm sure that can't go wrong. This must be the one where it gets fish in them. How do you climb up? How do you climb up there? Oh, there we go. Come on, put the water.
That's good. That's good, puffed Thomas happily.
Walk over to the side of the... Oh. Right, how did we climb up there again? This is a very, very inefficient way of filling a locomotive's side tanks. That's going to take absolutely forever to fill those tanks up. Oh my lord. This is going to take forever. Alright, I hope this is the last time. Okay. Thankfully that was. Oh, well, that's a coincidence. Now it gave me the proper forward signal. I wonder if there's a free camp. Okay, that's a free camp. I can't catch up with the train. Oops. Yeah, they didn't really sink the wheels at all. What's that? There's a farm over there. But then again, I don't think they ever did for the show, so I guess that's kind of a nod to the show, because they always just use the same stock sounds over and over for, like, they had like 3 different sound effects for 3 different speeds. I could have sworn there was motion blur on the wheels in the DLC. So if there was, it'd be weird that they omitted it here. Oh, so the CGI series pulled a Lionel and did 1 wheel off for Revolution then? That's always bugged me about the Lionel, like the Lion Chief models, is that they only do 1 chuff per full wheel Revolution, and it's why I didn't get the newer General and I got an old one from the 70s, because it absolutely was driving me nuts watching videos of these decent looking engines that Lionel made, and then they, for some reason, just gave you a weird one chuff per wheel Revolution sound effect instead of 4, like every other model train manufacturer does. And it doesn't even make sense if they did that for just the base locomotives, because Bachmann sells base locomotives that have, by default, the 4 chuffs per revolution with soundtracks. So I don't understand why they do that. It's really weird on there. Loading passengers. Nobody's getting on. I thought I'd never buy Lionel either, but I ended up liking their older stuff. I have one of their older 080s and their older General. I like those. I definitely probably won't be ever buying any of the new stuff, though. I was considering buying their newer Santa Fe Super Chief, but I don't think I'm going to. Literally nobody got on the train, so stopping there was just pointless. It's really disappointing how bad the American, it's really disappointing how bad the American passenger rail network is. It's just embarrassing, especially when you compare it to like Europe and the like Asia. I don't know why we let it fall so badly in favor of car transportation. A lot of our infrastructure problems regarding cars and all that would be solved if we just put more reliance back on passenger rail networks. And the passenger rail networks we do have, the trains are running secondary on them, and freight trains take what's the word? Freight trains take importance, I guess, over passenger trains, because there's times when I was on Amtrak and we were waiting for freight trains for some reason, which is just stupid because the freight railroads own all the track. So incredibly disappointing. The infrastructure needs to be just totally overhauled. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want the basic Lionel electronics in any of my locomotives. Oh, I almost overshot that. I would have failed the mission if I went any further. No, I wouldn't be shocked at all if I saw idiots messing about with the Big Boy tour, because I've seen idiots all over the place doing stupid stuff with trains in general, like playing chicken or trying to beat it at a crossing. I seem to remember 844 killed somebody because she was too close to the tracks filming it. And I guess people just, like, I feel bad for her, but people should have more common sense, like, than to do that, to be that close to the tracks or to be playing chicken or trying to beat it at a crossing or whatever. Oh, people did get on the train this time.
Suddenly, Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler. "Oh dear," groaned Thomas. "I think I'm going to burst. I've got such a pain. I've got such a pain."
Thomas has a boiler explosion and other stories. Oh, we're going to Farquhar. Yeah, if I were to personally buy more Lionel, which I probably won't. I think I'm pretty good with the 080 and the General. I'd probably be buying MPC era stuff and older post-war, because I really like the simplicity of the older stuff. Seems like the newer electronics just aren't worth the... just isn't worth the price. Yeah, WoW Center Blue Nami and Lionel locomotives would vastly improve them, especially if they're the Lion Chief ones. Oh, thanks for pointing it out, Redo. I'm never going to unsee that. Oh, I'm supposed to stop here, and I just failed the mission, and I'm going to cry now. We're not playing that again for a while. Let's just free roam now. I got distracted by Thomas's nose and blew through a red signal. Oh, I wish that they had checkpoints in this game and didn't make you completely start over for that. Because that was like almost completely done, I think. Like it sounded like they were going to stop at the station and see what was happening, and no, I have to start over. I think I'm going to play as James. Let's explore the map a bit. Knapford, Tidmouth Sheds, Maithwaite. Let's do Knapford. Wait, there's timetables? What does James have? Does he have any freight trains? Local service from Knapford to Victorstown. Coaches. They don't have any freight trains for him to do they? I wish they'd specify if they had freight or not. There's like 10 million different Oh wait, they just sell coal trucks. Where? Oh, I must have misread coaching. Coaching stock. I'm gonna see if I can do free roam. Is there free roam? What's going on? Free roam. A bunch of missions. Oh, so there's explore. I can set all the different settings. Set it to springtime. Alright, catch up with chat. They've been hitting drones with the train too. Yeah, I would imagine so with Lionel 90 sounds. I'm sure Wow Sound would just totally curb stomp the old uh, sounds they had back in the 90s. Do they have checkpoints? I'll have to try that out again. Oh, it's all good, Red Oak. I should have been paying attention way longer before that to the signal thing because I had noticed that the stop checkpoint was pretty close, so I should have been keeping an eye on it. Yeah, the Usra locomotives are cool. I like those in HO scale, and I'm sure Lionel does great versions of those Mikados and Pacifics too. I currently actually have one that a Red Oak modified for me, an IHC Usra Pacific, or no, Mikado, that's supposed to be Durango and Silverton 482. And I used to have a Bachmann 462 Pacific for Santa Fe as well. I sold that one quite a while ago because I just never ran it. Okay, so I hit this button to spawn a train. Ooh, let's do James. Let's do James and milk tankers. Their nostrils are injectors. That is an absolutely terrifying concept. Does James have them? No, he doesn't. Wasn't there an episode where Henry sneezed? And he they had him sneeze by blasting a bunch of soot out of his stack, out of his smoke box. I have to set a path. Okay, so this is like Train Sim World then. Okay. Let's go to what's up? I think this is Thomas's branch, right? Ellsbridge. Okay, this is Thomas's branch. Let's take some milk tankers to... Is there any sidings up here? Oh, wait, that's a siding. No, that's too short to park them on. Let's take them to Maithwaite. We're going to Maithwaite siding. That is... I hope that's not actually a thing, Chessie. I really hope that that's not official. And yeah, I thought so. I thought that's how... God, that's a good whistle. I always like James's whistle. I wonder if these were actual locomotive whistles and they just modified them for the original show, or if they just like used keyboard synths to make the whistles, because somewhere I saw somebody like replicated almost exactly the sounds of these whistles using their keyboard synth, which for the time of the 1980s back then wouldn't shock me at all. Oh, I saw they repainted 4051 in that southern green. It looks so much better in that southern green livery than just the standard black freight one. Oh, Red Oak. I was looking at the, somebody on YouTube had uploaded a video of all this Tsunami 2 whistles, and I found like 3 or 4 different 5 chimes on there that sounded like different variants of Sierra 3s, which is pretty interesting. Because as number 3, one about her work life, she did have a slight different tones of her whistle. So that'd be pretty cool to mess around with. We put Tsunami 2 in number 3. I'm starting to like Tsunami 2 a lot more than Wow Sound now. The more videos I've been watching on Tsunami 2 and all the stuff you can do to modify sounds and everything, and the whistle variety is just a lot better than Wow Sound. The only thing I really think I like Wow Sound more than Tsunami 2 now is just how the chuffing sounds are in general. But really, other than that, Tsunami 2 is just on par and in some case better than Wow Sound now. Oh, I noted, there was a Rio Grande 5 chime that sounded almost exactly like Sierra 3. That must be the one you're referencing, 497. Because I remember hearing the actual 497 blow its whistle on YouTube one time. Like, wow, that sounds almost exactly like Sierra 3's Nathan 5 chime. It's crazy. Oh, I didn't know that Soundtracks had that page on there. I think you actually had shown me. I think you sent me a link to that or mentioned that, actually, now that I think about it. I guess I just forgotten that they had done that. I had just been using the YouTube video because somebody uploaded all of them on there. Oh, do they have the bells available on there, too, or just the whistles? It'd be nice to go through all their bells. I think one of them sounded really close to the Red Dead bell on there as well. And there's one on there that sounds just like the Sierra 28's cannonball whistle, so I'm really excited. I've been talking to the fella that's currently working on my model of Sierra 28, and I'm having him put Tsunami 2 in it now instead of Wow Sound. We initially were discussing it, and I initially wanted Wow Sound. But now we're doing Tsunami 2, and I'm really happy because I forgot which one. I think might have been the Texas and Pacific 5 chime, but one of the whistles sounded exactly like the cannonball on Sierra 28. And we have some interesting plans with that. The guy is, he's going to make it so it has interchangeable box lamp and balloon stack, like Sierra 3 wore, because Sierra 28 also wore that false headlight and stack for a few movies. So that's going to be really cool to have a slip-on stack and headlight that just goes over top of the existing ones. I think, who was it? The channel who did Sierra Railway, that channel, Mike, who runs that channel, made his custom Sierra 3. He also did that. He made it so the stack and light could slip over top of the existing ones like they do in real life. I'll see if I can get James some passenger coaches at the next stop. Oh, it's a shame about the bells. But I'm sure I'll find something close enough, or you'll be able to find something close enough. I'm not going to overshoot. Okay, I'm at the wrong place. At the next stop. I haven't seen that video, Chessie. I'll have to look that up after the stream. I seem to remember these tankers used to actually say milk on the sides. Did they change that or something? Because I remember I used to have the little battery-powered Trackmaster ones by Tomy, and those ones said milk on the sides of them. Unless that's just a Mandela effect thing again. I did see the one where they put together like 100 Gordons or something. That one was pretty funny. Oh, okay, that would make sense. That would be a lot easier. They don't have to do multilingual texts for the tankers. They could just put a cow on it. I just heard pig sounds. There's pigs over here. These almost sound like the demonic pigs in my Broadway Limited hog stock car. Is that the windmill? No way. Now we just need Alec Baldwin to fall out of the sky next to it. Yeah, the pig ones are like demonic sounding. The cow one's a little bit better, but not by much. Yeah, the cow ones are a little bit better. They're not super great by any means. They kind of have the sound quality of a cheap birthday card with the music that plays or whatever, but it still adds a bit of interest to train consists when it runs by, though. Adds a bit of ambience to it. Why do we have to stop and wait here? There's nothing there. Is that Terrence? No, that's just a tractor. I just described all Broadway Limited sounds. Yeah, I still don't know why they're just being so, what's the word? They're just being so stubborn about it, and they just refuse to use any other sound decoders. They just keep using their in-house sound decoders, which sounds like stuff from the 90s for the most part. I don't understand. And they have so many issues with them. Like, I've said this a million times. I was so mad when I bought that Pensy E6 Atlantic from them, brand new, and it immediately fried its decoder. Immediately. It was so annoying. I heard their Paragon 3 was just absolutely the most buggy thing on earth. Alright, we're parking at the siding. I hope James doesn't want to go anywhere because he's going to be stuck here now because it doesn't go anywhere else. What other engine should I spawn? I'm going to spawn another train up here. Other than Thomas, because I'm bored of driving Thomas already. We're going to spawn another engine up here. Where's the spawn thing? These are our choices. The fat controller, wonders if Sodor bought pigs. Yeah, I would love if George Carlin was around to dub this. But he was pretty up there even when he passed away, and that was like 20 years ago. He'd be like in his 90s now if he was still around. I'd love to see what George Carlin would say now, just in general, because his stuff is like so relevant to today that he was saying like even 30 years ago. Oh, I've seen that Union Pacific 060. Yeah, they really just need to go with either Tsunami or Wow Sound or even Lock Sound at this point because Paragon is just left in the dust in comparison to those three. Yeah, that's not acceptable. You can't just people. I don't know why people were okay with a buggy Paragon 3 decoder and just saying that's how it is. I would not. I would just find that unacceptable to spend like two, three, four, even $500 on one of those things and just have it be buggy, out of the box. Just be told that's how they are. I heard it's a nightmare to change out the decoders in those things too for some reason. Double head Gordon and Percy. Do I dare? What's the consist going to be if I double head Gordon and Percy? We could have them do an express run or freight. Have them pulling pigs. I wonder if there is livestock cars in here. Is there like a livestock industry on here? Troublesome trucks, mixed trucks, light. No, it's just box cars and trucks and coaches. Oh, okay, that's probably what I was thinking of then. Because I heard people say that it was just annoying and usually not very fun to replace the Broadway's Paragon decoder for a new one. We'll do an express run, I think. We'll do 6 coaches. Gordon, if we could just spawn over here, would be great. Okay. Gordon does not look happy that he's just spawned on this branch line. He'll get over it. Let's do Percy. Let's give Percy a freight train. We'll have Gordon pushing a freight train. Oh, it won't let me spawn it on the same track. Wait, maybe it's just too close. Nope, it won't let me spawn it on this. That's weird. It'll let me spawn it the other way, though. How do I delete a train? Okay. Let's try spawning Percy Bimes. Where's Light Loco? There it is. It won't let me spawn it on... that's weird. It let me spawn it the other way, though. Do I dare run the engines this way with Percy going tender first backwards? Or I should say coal bunker first if there's no tender. Oh, I've heard the thing about MTH decoder things being really annoying to deal with, too. Sorry, Percy, they don't want you here anymore. Goodbye. Percy was just sacrificed in the name of the Church of Betsy. Oh, I have to set a path or else I'm going to crash the game. How do I set path? It looks like the track ends here. I'm going to see if I can run Gordon off the track up here and see what happens. I hope there's no passengers on board. Okay, we're going to be killing passengers today, it looks like. The Fat Controller will not be pleased. What? Oh, I forgot James was over there. Gordon looks really pleased that he's about to kill a bunch of passengers now. Oh man, he's now upset with it. I'm surprised with the amount of crashes in that show that railway hasn't been sued into oblivion. Because it's like a daily occurrence there. Yeah, it is a daily occurrence, Redo. Oh, this is so annoying. Is there a light in this engine too? No, of course there isn't. Wait, what was that? Cab door. Just utter darkness right now. I didn't want to see anyway. Red Oak, what do you think? So I was just talking to somebody about the J.W. Bowker earlier, and I was looking at those the other night, and I saw that they had two versions of that locomotive. One was like an earlier tender drive, the other one was like it had the motor in the cab. And I did some reading on it, and it sounds like the motor in the cab one runs better. I was honestly kind of interested in buying one of those. However, the size kind of throws me off of wanting to buy that locomotive, because if I bought that 240, it will, like, I have a feeling it's going to be towering over my Bachmann 440s, and I'm not sure if that's really worth it. So I was just kind of curious what your opinion is on the Bowker that I think it was River Rossi and AHM produced. Yeah, it's definitely oversized. I remember I used to have one a long time ago, but it wasn't in operating condition, and it was like a parts locomotive, so I never really got much of an opinion on that. And we're going to overrun the stop. Let's just not do that. Let's just not overrun the stop, please. Actually, I think I still have the boiler of that Bowker laying around somewhere. It's like all I have left of it now is the boiler, and it was like painted up to be a rusty scrap heap or something. Yeah, that's what I was figuring. Like, it would be nice to have, it would be nice to have the Bowker as a locomotive, but the size issue is throwing me off. It's like even worse than the Sierra 3s, because at least Sierra 3s could be plausible because it looks like the larger Southern Pacific 10-wheelers. but the Bowker is just going to be way too big for that little tiny 240. Like, I saw pictures of engineer figures glued inside it, and they just look tiny in the cab for that locomotive, and the engine itself is supposed to be, like, even smaller, I imagine, than the Bachmann 440s. I wonder if somebody's ever tried to build one from scratch. That would probably be a nightmare to build the chassis and everything for it, but it'd be cool if somebody could make one. Danger. Oh, I didn't get enough speed. We're gonna go off the tracks. That was anticlimactic. "9 feet tall in HO scale is no, that's diabolical. That's comical as well. That was really disappointing crash. I was expecting it to not. That's the mine, right? Okay, let's go to the mine. Let's make it fall. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. I saw people that put engineer and crew cabs figures in the cab, and they did not look good. And I imagine it'll look even worse if you try pairing it up with scaled coaches. Somebody has on eBay right now as we speak, there's a really nice looking model of the William Crooks from the St. Paul and Pacific Railroad. That's super tempting, but that's a tender drive, and it sounds like there's a bunch of issues with it, though. It's a really beautiful engine, though. Also, I can't really just afford to blast money on that, because I have, like, 3 different projects that are ongoing right now that are siphoning money from me. Oh, okay. So it's roughly the size of the oversized AHM 440 then. But it's supposed to be smaller than the 040, so I could definitely see how that's going to look really bad when compared to properly scaled models then. Pretty cool up here. Is it really? I seem to remember the stack on that locomotive being enormous because I have a picture floating around somewhere. I used that stack on one of my Sierra 3 models to look like the balloon stack that they wore in the 90s after Back to the Future. And that stack was enormous. Hey, there's a hat. I discovered a hat. Yeah. Yeah, those Rivarossi 440s are still viable as the larger, like, passenger locomotives, like you said, around the 1880s and 1890s, but the Bowker is such a tiny locomotive, and I never really saw any railroads build any large 240s off the top of my head. The 240 kind of seems like it was like reserved for smaller, like, shunting engines and light trains on branch lines. It doesn't seem like a wheelbase that was ever used for, like, really heavy or fast trains at all. That's really disappointing. That's like the only model ever made of the Bowker. This is a really nice looking little engine. To Emily. Oh, Red Oak. So, I don't know if you saw it all, but I'm working on the Sierra 3 from the 70s right now. Um, I just had Circus City Decals make me up a set of decals for Sierra 3 from Little House on the Prairie. They're giving me a whole sheet, and they told me there's going to be 5 sets of those decals. I only need one. I don't know if you'd have any interest in like the white pinstriping for any of your projects off that locomotive, but there's no way I'm going to have any use for all 5 of those. So if you think you have any use for them, I could send you a set or two. Because they made it with the they did the pinstriping to fit the Tyco tender. It's just a bit smaller than the Tyco tender, so they could probably be reused for other medium-sized locomotives, like maybe the Bachmann 460 perhaps, or the 440. And the middle part they did with the St. Paul, Minneapolis, Manitoba is like a whole separate decal, so that's not even, you wouldn't have to even cut that out off of it. Just let me know if you want it, and I'll include it with the other decals for the Glenbrook whenever we get around to that. I really like Emily's whistle. I don't know why, but that's a really pleasing whistle. It's almost like the Pensy Banshee, except not as, horrible and screechy as the Pensy Banshee. Let's set a route for this. Let's go down to Far. How do we set the... set... Why aren't I moving? I really like how the Sterling single locomotives look. I always really like the aesthetic of these locomotives. I don't think there's any American locomotives that really had anything that was proportioned like this. It's a really unique design. I can't even really think. Was there any engine? Oh, wait, no, there was the 42, that Central Pacific Huntington locomotive had the was a 424, but it didn't really look like this though. 424T. We could just slow down. We're gonna go flying off a cliff if we don't slow down. I wonder if we can hit 88 with Emily. We're going to try and hit 88 with Emily now. Ooh! What was that whistle? What was that whistle? Oh, that was amazing. We got to do that again. I'm determined to get Emily up to 88 now. We got to get rid of those coaches, though. Is there a light locomotive? I wonder if we can spawn anything that looks like a DeLorean. Is there any, like, troublesome trucks? There's troublesome. I'm gonna spawn troublesome trucks to look like the DeLorean. This is gonna be our DeLorean. Just delete Percy because we don't want him here. Delete these. We don't want them here. Alright, Kevin, it was nice seeing you. Hope you have a good evening. And, yeah, Leviathan York, you just joined a really chaotic moment. We're gonna try and use that troublesome truck as our DeLorean. If we can get into the cab. Let me in the cab. There we go. It might actually be feasible to get her up to 88 without derailing if we get on the main line somewhere, but I want to see if we can do it over here. Because honestly, that was the most hilarious crash that I've ever seen. I really, really like this whistle. Yeah, there's a lot of like screechy and ear-grating single chimes out there. This one, to me, is not as horrible. I probably should slow down on this curve. And the brakes didn't... And the brakes did nothing. Oops. Alright, let's pick... Oh, I know, it's screechy. It's a really screechy whistle. It definitely probably got people's attentions when it was coming through crossings and in the yard working, though. Just probably... So for that reason, the Pensy Banshee is probably good, just because it's so horrible and ear-grating that it gets people's attention to get out of the way. But it is definitely not by any means a pleasing sound to hear. It's not like Sierra 3's 5 chime. Can we fast travel in this game? I think if I get on the main line somewhere, I could probably hit 88. Okay, here we go. Alright, which way is which? So we want to spawn this way, I think. We're gonna get Emily Light. How did I spawn that troublesome truck? With Percy? Gotta think fourth dimensionally. And those aren't... Dang it. Why aren't you deleting? Okay, this doesn't want to delete now. I think we've like banished Percy to the Shadow Realm like 5 times in this stream so far alone. Alright, we got our DeLorean. We have our sentient DeLorean here. I have a feeling it's going to be really painful when this troublesome truck begins the time travel thing, because like the front of the DeLorean catches on fire when it like travels through time. So this troublesome truck's face is going to look a bit crispy if we hit 88. It'll be fine. All right. I'll have to listen to the pulse and logging number 2 whistle. I've seen the engine, but I haven't actually seen it running in videos. Yeah, it's fine. I didn't know that there was such thing as a 7 chime. That's something entirely new to me today. We'll try, hopefully we'll be at 88 by the time we hit this platform. Oh, we just did the backing up signal, even though we're going forwards. Oh well. Yeah, I didn't know there could be any other locomotive chimes that were bigger than the 6 chime. That's gonna sound pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out after the stream. This troublesome truck does not look happy. Hello there, Chessie. We're trying to get Emily up to 88 miles per hour. Red Oak, did you see that video where somebody 3D printed I think it was a Great Northern 5 chime and then some sort of 6 chime, and they used it with they're like air whistles, and they sound exactly like an actual steam whistles. I think Heist even commented on that video. Yeah, it's sweet. This guy, he did so many redesigns to get to that point, but he used actual blueprints and made actual whistles out of his 3D printer. And the 5 chime sounds pretty similar to Sierra 3s. And then there's a really good sounding 6 chime. It might have been like Heist's Atlantic Coastline 6 chime or something like that. It was really cool. It was some sort of 6 chime. Now we're at 62. Yeah, it was cool, Leviathan. Leviathan, have you thought of getting the Bachmann current releases of the Leviathan in York, or are you doing totally N-scale now? Because I remember I saw some of your videos were in HO. It's a shame that they won't bring the N-scale 440s back, but I could see why, because it was like the old tooling for those 440s were ancient and they were not reliable at all in N-scale. Yeah, it was outdated tooling, but it would have been really nice if they could have made like a nice 440 like Atlas did, because Atlas had a beautiful, beautiful 440, even though it was still tender drive. And I really wish they hadn't discontinued that, because I would totally buy one. But you can they're so hard to find on eBay now. And if you find one, they're like absurdly priced and not like spending $300 on a tiny little N-scale 440. We're at 70. 71. I heard that the tender wheels didn't even properly turn on those Bachmann old N-scale 440s. I think they were like just statically there. And so the engine had just garbage pulling power, from what I understand. I've never owned one of those N-scale 440s, but I have not heard good things about it. Trying to casually get a 422 to 80 miles per hour. 88. We're at 81 now. We're doing pretty good. We're getting up there. We're at 82. 83. Oh, okay, that makes sense, Leviathan. N-scale is definitely a lot better for if you have space limitations for sure. I wish there was more variety in N scale though. 'Cause if there was like way more stuff available for N scale, I'd be more open to it. But at the same time, I have really bad shaky hands when working on stuff. So when I tried working on my previous N scale stuff before I left that scale for now, it was just a nightmare trying to service those things and keep them on the tracks and coupling. But it's a really cool scale though. You can get a lot more done in N scale with the same space as HO scale. Did we just hit 88? We're at 90. We're at 90. I wonder if we can get Percy. I'm going to see after this we can get Percy or Thomas up to 90. I heard that Heiss's whistle in person in Durango. They had 482 running the weekend I was in Durango with that whistle on it. It was a really nice sounding whistle, but there's this spot right outside of the station where you might actually see it on my shorts if you look into it, on my YouTube shorts. There's a clip where I was standing right next to the track where there's like a parking lot there, and that I didn't have any ear protection at all for hearing, and that whistle when it went by 482 like blew my eardrums out as it went past me, and it like literally was shaking. Oh, we're gonna blow through a thing, aren't we? It was like shaking my brain from the vibrations from being so close. It was crazy, but it was still a really cool whistle though. Let's try another engine. We're going to see if we can get Thomas and Percy to double head up to 88 now. I'm really curious to see what like the absolute limits of these engines are now. Actually, should we just hook all the engines up and see how fast it can go? I'm going to hook all the engines up and see how fast we can go. We're going to do them, let's see, we'll do Percy next. Do James. Emily. We're going to fit Gordon over here. I hope we can fit Gordon. Alright, we're going to couple these all up together. I hope we don't have like a really cursed sounding whistle if I hook all these engines up together like in Railroads Online. Come on, Gordon, get going. Alright, we got Emily and Gordon paired up. Okay, we got James, we have Percy and Thomas. Now we just have to get Diesel. How do I get out of the cab? I already forgot. I can't get out of the cab, I'm stuck! Seriously, I'm stuck. Why did they... There we go. That was mildly annoying. I don't see a light version for this. Oh, there we go. Why won't it? It won't give me the option. All right, let's get in Thomas. We'll lead the charge with Thomas. Get out of this dirty diesel. Oh, we have to set a destination, or else this is gonna not work. Let's see if we can get it to the end of the map without derailing, which is really far. Wow. I hope this doesn't blow my PlayStation up. If the stream suddenly ends, that means that the game couldn't handle this and blew up my PlayStation. Steamboat whistles are pretty cool. But usually I like the lighter sounding whistles personally. I prefer like 5 chimes and stuff. Why won't it let me go forward? I might have to reset my path. I think I did the pathing wrong. Okay, I set the pathing wrong. How do I... I don't like how you can't just do sandbox mode in this game. Like, they force you to do the stop and wait stuff like it's a regular train sim. It's kind of annoying. Like, if I go past this right now, it's going to fail it, and I'm going to have to start all over again. Okay, so if we're on the furthest right side track, does that mean I can... I would assume that means that I can go on this track then, without issue. Why does it keep putting the wrong... Can we just... What do you mean it's not valid? Okay, we're going to start over. Let's get rid of this path. Wait. Wow, this game will not let me run on this track for some reason. It doesn't even make sense. This is a very annoying thing. Okay, there we go. We got it to work. This is tanking my frame rate. Oh, wow, this is really bad. This is going to blow my PlayStation up, isn't it? We're going to figure out where to restart this in another spot because the game keeps crashing because of that stupid signal. Where should we spawn to try this then? Probably here. Hello. Alright. Alright, we're going to reset the whole thing again because the game can't comprehend letting me run on one track for some reason. Should I put any cars behind? No, I'm not going to put cars behind them. I'll just put them like this. I definitely prefer, personally, the smaller old-timer engines. I thought that the smaller, older locomotives were given a lot more character with their paintwork and their specific designs, like Mason Machine Works, for example. I think Mason Machine Works is probably my favorite builder, besides maybe Rogers. Those engines were the definition of class to me. That's back when they treated locomotives like pieces of artwork. And Gordon's wheels aren't moving. Oh, there they go. Alright, we're going to try this little experiment and see how fast we can go. And then after that, I think I'm going to end the stream because I'm getting hungry for dinner myself. This game is very annoying with its pathing. Very, very annoying with how its pathing works. It keeps saying the tracks I'm on are not a valid location. It keeps trying to route me through this center track for some reason. I don't understand why I can't just... That door to space through me. I don't understand why I can't just put... Did that fix it? No, of course it didn't. Well, spamming doesn't work. I've just broken the game now. What is going on? Alright, we're going to have to reset this again because the game can't comprehend me working on this track. How do we get out of the cab? Well, we have 3 Thomases now. Let's try this again. All right. Alright, we should probably delete these other engines so I don't melt my PlayStation CPU. Try here. Are you kidding me now? It won't let me go this way. There we go. Ooh, that wasn't a good glitch. Alright, I have not been reading chat while I was setting this up. Yeah, I pretty much agree with the consensus. I personally like the Victorian and turn of the century steam, but I think all steam is pretty good, though. I don't blame anyone for liking one type of locomotive more than another. Unless you like that horrible Russian thing. That really ugly, what was it, 414.0 or whatever. That is an ugly engine. I don't think I could agree with anyone on liking that ugly Russian locomotive, but the rest of the engines are definitely, I can see why every other engine has a following to it. Alright, we're going to try this now and see if my PlayStation doesn't explode. Let's go. Yeah, that was like the ugliest steam engine I've ever seen. Has anybody ever seen, like, chat threads or comment sections where people are, like, from the United States bashing European locomotives and Europeans bashing American locomotives? Because I've seen some really, really nasty arguments where that was going on, and people just be insulting each other and saying, 999 was the first one to go over 100. No, it was the, what was the one that they thought went over 100 first? The Mallard? I saw a massive argument over that in the comment section one time. People, then they were saying, oh, American engines are ugly. They have those giant pilots and the smokestacks and the headlights. And there are people saying, oh, no, European locomotives don't look very good either because they have no character, and it's like, wow, this a train wreck to watch those going on in comment sections. City of Truro, that's what it was. Thank you. City of Truro is a pretty beautiful engine. I like that locomotive. Yeah, there was people definitely still arguing over that whole debate with if the Americans or the British were the first ones to go over 100 or not. It was like boomers in the comment section, though. You could tell it was boomers. Look at Percy's drivers, or not the drivers. Look at Percy's driving gear. We're at 86. Why can't I like a 414.4? No, seriously though, if people like those monstrosity engines, more power to them as well. Because I don't hate any specific locomotive really, but that is a really cursed engine though. Like that is possibly one of the ugliest locomotives I've ever seen. I should go on to Heiss's. Heiss used to do streams where he like did reviews of really cursed-looking locomotives. I should check that out one of these days again. Those were pretty funny. Holy smokes, look at Diesel. Yeah, I definitely respect everyone else's interests in railroading. There's all sorts of locomotives out there to appreciate. Mine personally is mostly 19th century, but I can see why a lot of people aren't fans of 19th century steam though. Like the larger transition era locomotives or even the more modern diesels, because there's a lot of people that model a lot of different eras. I've seen just about every era modeled at this point, even like 1830s. I've seen a couple layouts that are like set in the 1830s, and I think it's really cool that that era is getting more interest in now, especially with what Bachmann and Hornby are doing with releasing newer, what was it called, Era 1 locomotives and rolling stock. That's definitely a really underrated era there. You don't see like anybody touching the 1830s and 1840s. And I'm really glad to see that 19th century has been picking up steam lately. Like, I remember when I got into the hobby, like, I don't know, like 15 years ago or so, there was like nobody modeling the old West or 19th century era. Now it's like exploding, and I'm really happy to see the big boost in small steam interest in 19th century railroading. I don't know if anybody has heard of this layout. Oh wow, we are almost at 100 now. I haven't been paying attention, but there used to be this layout and model railroader. I just absolutely loved it. It was called the Jerome and Southwestern, and if you're interested in desert railroading and old time 19th century turn of the century railroading, I definitely recommend looking at it. It's a really cool 4x8 layout, and they have like who was the guy that made it? I can't recall his name, but the Jerome and Southwestern Model Railroad. Fantastic representation of turn of the century railroading. And it was a really good utilization of space on a 4x8 too, that layout was. I've even seen layouts now that are like futuristic railroads. Those are pretty cool too. And we're at 103 now. Wow. 104. James looks very... Oh, no, he's smiling. I was going to say James looks very indifferent that we're doing 100 miles per hour right now. Tom... Look at Thomas's face. He's got that look like, yeah, I do this all the time. This is nothing new to me. Gordon, again, this is nothing new. I do this all the time. Diesel has a very devious grin. Yeah, I love the Reno locomotive and the Jupiter 119. I love the 440 wheelbase. I think my favorite wheelbase, I can't even pick one. I have to do a top three. Top three wheelbases would be 440, 460, and... Ooh, I don't know if I want to pick 280 or 260. I'll do 280. 280, 460, 440. Favorite wheelbases. I have way too many of each of those wheelbases in my collection. Yeah, the JW Bowker was like a staple on the Jerome and Southwestern. Which is why I really wish we had a scaled version one, because it's going to look really cursed. I ran an oversized Rivarossi Bowker on my layout where I have mostly scale equipment except for Sierra 3. .107. 28882, is that the triplex, I assume? That has to be the triplex. 210. I used to have a decapod. Bachmann's decapod was pretty cool. I'm surprised it took the curves on my layout, but that was a pretty cool one, like Strasbourg 90. And then 2662. Sierra had, I think, a 2662. It was their number 38. That one was pretty cool, too. A lot of pretty cool logging locomotives were 2662 wheelbases. Alright, I'm going to put on the brakes, I think. Actually, no, let's screw it. We're going to go right through that red signal. I don't care. Look at Emily's. Hers is barely even moving still. We're doing 110 and Emily's drive wheel's just barely doing any. Whoa! Hey, was not expecting that. Wow. There's one more thing I want to try before I end this stream now. .440, 460, and 260. This game has such weird physics. Was it confirmed that 999 actually authentically hit 100 miles per hour, or was there some trickery involved with that? Because I think they were counting mileposts or something. But I don't know if that was like verified that 999 actually went over 100 during that inaugural run. .262s are pretty cool. That's another underrated wheelbase that didn't really take off. You know what's really cool are 442s. Those are cool, but 242s, the Columbia wheelbase. You never really saw those take off in America, and it's a really cool wheelbase. Lord Vader, who's usually in my streams, I don't know if he's here right now. Red Oak, I think he was actually talking to you about that, because he was telling me about it. He has a Aristocraft 242, and I just think that's a beautiful model of a locomotive. I have one in G-scale that Bachmann did with a diamond stack that's pretty neat as well. And it's just weird how that never really took off in the States. I don't know if it was because it just wasn't worth the design wasn't worth it or what. 'Cause it was a pretty small 242 wheelbase. You wouldn't be getting much traction out of that in speed. So I guess I can actually now see why it wouldn't have been too popular of a wheelbase design, but it's just a shame. It's a really cool design. We're gonna try and see what we can do to mess about here again. $414 Chessie's just trolling now. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were measuring it with mileposts and stopwatches, but there definitely could be some trickery around there for the railroad to fudge it so they can make their locomotives and rail companies look better than they actually could have been. I'm assuming those giant drivers did absolutely have the capability of hitting 100, though. So those drivers were, what, like 6-7 feet tall in diameter? Yeah, there's a lot of historic American moments that involve 440s. There was the Great Locomotive Chase with the General and the Texas and the other ones. Golden Spike with Jupiter in 119. The Crash at Crush. You don't really hear people really talk about that one, but that was like a big thing in the day, was the Crash at Crush, where they just took those two 440s and plowed them into each other. And that was like the biggest scandal of like the 1870s when it came to like train wrecks, because they didn't really apparently take into consideration the boilers would explode and throw debris violently at a crowd full of bystanders. I don't really see how that made it through. And then they fired and rehired the guy that was behind it, because he was like the marketing guy for the whatever railroad it was that was behind Crash at Crush. And yeah, that's an event that's an interesting one that not a lot of people talk about. And what else involved 440s? Casey Jones had a 460, so that wasn't a 440. 999. I can't think of any more, but I know there's more though. A 414-4 would be interesting to see in HO scale, but there'd be like no way you'd be able to get that thing around like curves at all, unless like half of the drivers were blind, and even then you'd have half of the wheels dangling off of the curve, unless you had like a massively wide curve that's like not even comprehensible. Oh yeah, the movies too. The General movie had narrow gauge 440s. And then I'm glad we had so many 440s making into preservation. Because what do we have that we know of that's in preservation that aren't replicas? We have my mind just blanked as soon as I started thinking. We have the General. We have the Texas. We have Sierra Railway 8, which is technically not actually Sierra Railway number 8, but it was a Dardanelle and Russellville number 8, which is at the Demata State Railroad Museum. There's what other 440s are there? There's all the Virginia and Truckee ones, so Inyo, Reno, Genoa, Dayton. There's the narrow gauge Jupiter from the Santa Cruz Railroad at the California State Railroad Museum. There's the Eureka from the Eureka and Palisade. There's the William Mason. Do you know William Mason? Does anybody else know of any 440s that are original, that are still in existence? There's Prairie Dog Central 3. There's that one in Canada. There's South Simcoe, whatever number that one was, the 440. There's the two at the Henry Ford. There's the Detroit and Lima Northern and the Edison. There's this St. Paul and Pacific William Crooks. What else is there? This doesn't bug me now, because now I want to see how many 440s I can remember that survived into preservation. I'm sure there's tons more that I'm not even thinking of. But yeah, there is a ton of them, and I'm really glad all of them made it into preservation, though. I don't even want to imagine how bad a 412.2 would be to get around curves. I don't even want to know the radius of a curve to make an engine go around a curve or track like that in O gauge. Oh, the shark nose diesels are sweet. There's one that used to run through my town. There's photos of it in like the 60s or 70s of those shark nose diesels running through my town. I just saw they moved one downstate. It was what was it, Delaware and Hudson, right? I think it was Delaware and Hudson. Those things were sweet. They were moving one downstate on the Great Lakes Central Railroad earlier. I don't know what they're doing with it, though. Yeah, it is a pretty decent matchup for the Dardanelle and Russellville locomotive with the proportions of that. All you'd have to really do is extend the smoke box, and you'd pretty much have it. A 416.6. That would be impossible to get through switches and curves. And you thought El Gobernator and the 414.4 were bad enough. Yeah, the Rivarossi 460 is sweet. I kind of wanted to buy one a while ago to make into the Lone Ranger Constitution, because that's essentially what it is, but I just don't have... I can't do that. I'm trying to limit my engines now. I have like all the engines planned out that I want. The Bachmann Shea will hopefully be the last brand new engine I buy. I pre-ordered the red Pickering one. I'm going to just really hope that's the last one I buy brand new, because I can't keep buying new engines. I was just watching somebody's channel, and they had like 84 steam locomotives and like 60 diesels and like 20 various engines in various states. I'm like, that would absolutely be me if I had the space and money to do that. And I probably shouldn't, because that's like super irresponsible of me with my money and space right now to try and have more than 20 concurrent engines at once. So I absolutely would have a collection like that if I could, but I just shouldn't. I'd love to see if somebody tried to do an El Gobernator model. That'd be interesting to see how that actually performs, even with massive curves. You're going to build a 3D printed 414.4. Yeah, I don't think any of those shark noses are in operation. They'd have to totally restore them to get one back into service, which would be sweet. A 4684. I've seen an engine like that. It was like a 4464 or something. It was like European or something. It was really weird. I know, Red Oak. That's exactly the thing. When I had my most engines at once last year, and I had like 30 or 40 at once, it was getting incredibly overwhelming for me to figure out what train I want to run. And then I would look at them, and it would just get overwhelming. So I'm like, I have too many engines. I don't have space for them all. I have to run them all because I've now paid for all of them. And then I'm like, all right, less is more at this point. I got to get rid of all the excess engines that are just bloating the collection, and that's why I don't have like any large steam engines now besides those two Durango ones. Those are my only two large steamers now. And they're my most modern ones too, besides the diesel that I got, the Rio Grande center cap switcher. I've really tried to narrow it down just so I can manage everything and have all engines properly ran every once in a while without getting overwhelmed like that. Right now I'm trying to keep it down to like Central Pacific, Sierra Railway, the Red Dead engines, and Rio Grande. I got rid of like all my East Coast stuff except for the York and the what's my other East Coast engine? The Wanderer, I guess, could be qualified as East Coast. Actually, oh, I don't know. That ran all over the place in the TV show and movies, but so really the only Eastern engine I have then is the York. I can't believe that massive wreck that happened on your stream last time, Red Oak. That was horrifying because I am like always terrified of having stuff go off my table. I designed my layout to have like a couple inches, or at least 1 inch. I guess it wasn't 2 inches, it's 1 inch. 1 inch of space on my layouts around all the tracks. So if I have a derailment, it shouldn't go off the table. So when I like physically cringed on the inside when I saw all those cars go flying off in that derailment and that screams like, oh my god, that would terrify me if that was my equipment. So I'd be terrified of these cars getting broken. Hopefully nothing broke though. When that wreck happened, I saw that one coach hanging on for dear life in the stream. Somehow it looked like it was hooked onto another car and just clinging for dear life to not jump the tracks and go off the table. I was really glad that prairie. I think you had the prairie at the end, didn't you? Or you had one of your custom engines at the end, I think. I was like, oh, I really hope that engine doesn't go over the end because you had spent a lot of time, from what you told me, on that locomotive, and it looked like a really nice locomotive, and that would have been horrible to see it go over the end like that and smash a bunch of parts on it, because that's happened to me before, and it's not fun. Yeah, that's definitely a testament to Katie Coupler's quality. Alright, I think I'm going to try and derail a train on this, and I'm going to end the stream. My eyes are getting a bit sore from looking at a screen for so long now. Plus, I'm starving now. I think it's time for frozen pizza. So, what engine should we drive off of what was it? There was like a cliff down the tracks on the switch. What engine should we drive off a cliff? Yeah, that would have absolutely sucked to see that prairie go off. Frozen pizza. Yep. Thomas. Alright, we'll throw Thomas off. We'll have troublesome trucks push him off the tracks. That way it's not his fault when the Fat Controller scolds him. Drive Gordon. We'll do both. We're going to wreck Thomas and we'll do Gordon after that. There's time for both. I've been trying a bunch of different frozen pizzas lately. I kind of had Tostino's ruined for me because I went and baked the pizza and then I ate like 3/4 of it before I realized there was a bug baked into the pizza, and I just kind of don't want to touch that brand anymore. So I've been trying a bunch of different ones like DiGiorno and like a bunch of local ones like what was the one I had the other day? Detroit, some sort of Detroit style one, which is pretty good. No, Jesse, I ate the pizza frozen. That's how I like to eat the pizzas. That was Sierra 3 that played Casey Jones. That was pretty interesting. That show, the delivery they applied to Sierra 3 for that. Newman's Own makes... I didn't know they made pizza. I knew that they obviously made the dressings. I like Newman's Own dressings. Never tried the pizza, though. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. You're gonna... Oh, I can't do salty foods at all. I try to avoid sugar and salt these days, and which is kind of funny that I say that because that's pretty much all processed foods are, sugar and salt. But I try to avoid salt and sugars. I just can't do large amounts of either. It just grosses me out now because I try to avoid processed foods. But when I eat them, though, I forgot where I was going with this. I just try to avoid processed stuff. So if it's super salty, I probably won't eat it. I really don't like pizzas that are overly sweet with their sauce either. It's just kind of gross. They put way too much sugar in food now and way too much salt in food. What? This game is really bad physics. It's like not even a joke. Yeah, I can't really do super salty foods or sweet. I saw a thing where somebody tried to like compare the Thomas characters to the trio from Top Gear, and they made, I think Gordon was Jeremy, Henry was or no, James was Hammond, Gordon was Henry. I think Edward might have been James May, or maybe he was Henry. But I could definitely see Jeremy being Gordon and Hammond being James. I don't know who came up with that comparison to begin with, but it was amazing, though. Yeah, I've seen that model of CR3. It looks pretty good. They have a really good, what game? I think it's Trains or Train Simulator. Somebody made like a bunch of liveries for CR3 to play for that game. And there was like every major appearance. It was like Back to the Future, the Hooterville Cannonball, the 90s appearance, the Little House appearance, and its regular 1920s and current excursion appearance. This is kind of boring when they derail this easily. We need like an idea for like how to end the stream. We could try ramming two engines into each other. I'm ramming two engines into each other. Problem is, how am I going to start the one engine and get the other one spawned in? Maybe I can fast travel the one, get off, and fast travel to the other one. Can I do that? Can I fast travel to an engine? Oh, I can't fast travel. That sucks. We're going to have James and Gordon hit each other because I think they both kind of hate each other. Yeah, the James is Hammond and Gordon is Clarkson are definitely two pretty good matches. I don't know who James May would be, though. I feel like Edward might be a good match for James May's energy. Alright, we're going to see what happens if we ram these two into each other. I can't get Gordon started because I have to physically walk back over there, I think. We uncouple these while it's in motion. There we go. There we go. That was anticlimactic. These are very anticlimactic derailments in this game. Kind of wish that they actually did something better than that, but oh well. Yeah, I wish I had a computer to play all the train games. PlayStation is very limited with what it has on here available. Like the only few games I can think of are the basic train world games, Railroads Online, this game, and then there's a couple like Railway Empire, but that game is like that's not a train driving game. It's like a tycoon, like simulator development game, if that makes sense, where you build the railroads and you build the economies, and the trains are just kind of there doing all the work, but you don't actually get to drive them. Yeah, well, I think anyways, though, I'm going to wrap up the stream here now, because I'm getting really hungry for frozen pizza now. And the stream's been going on for how long? I can't even really check, can I? 2.5 hours, yep, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap up the stream. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing my next stream. Probably will be doing a layout stream next time. This game's fun, but I don't think I'm going to really stream it again, though, because it's kind of boring, if I'm going to be honest. I don't see myself streaming Railroads Online again either. It's just boring and buggy. So, next layout, or next stream will probably be on the layout, or maybe working on something. We'll see. Anyway, so, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope everyone has a good night. And, see you next time.